With the results of the Nevada caucuses still trickling in, Bernie Sanders destroyed the rest of the Democrats for president and now rolls into South Carolina as the undisputed front-runner in this race. However, we now have a story that at least 2 people crossed over so they could vote for Bernie that were die-in-the-wool Trump supporters. Sneaky lil devils. From Raw Story, conservative activist Chuck Muth said that he temporarily switched parties to vote for Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders in the Nevada caucuses. Muth, who spoke to the Las Vegas Journal-Review while wearing a red Keep America Great hat, explained that he had crossed over to vote for the weakest candidate possible of the Democrats. Muth explained, "It was kind of a way of demonstrating how absurd I think it is to have same-day registration as well as early voting for a caucus, so my wife and I last Sunday went to an early voting site, we changed parties right there on the spot. We caucused for Bernie." Now, this is not to suggest that Sanders's crushing victory was due to Trump supporters crossing over being they thought that Sanders is the weakest opponent. I'm sure that Chuck and his wife are not the only 2 people who did this, but there is really no way of knowing how many did. Even if it was 5% of the total, Sanders still obliterated the rest of the field. This is also not the first time this maneuver has been employed. I know firsthand that a bunch of GOP types crossed over in Michigan years ago to vote for Jesse Jackson in the Democrats' primary and secured him his only victory that season. However, going forward this might come into play more and more that Republicans with no one to vote for, cross over and vote for Sanders based on the perception that Bernie and his bros can be beaten like a drum in the general election. Also, when will one of the other challengers use Chuck's story above to try and say that Bernie's victory is not totally legit? You know it is only a matter of time. We are almost 1 week away from the biggest day of voting on Super Tuesday, and it looks like the Democrats nominating a communist is in full meltdown mode.